Some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist. I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
I'll turn the music down so you can hear what I'm saying. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern. This is one street over, and this is our opportunity to see what's happening one street over from where you live. And what are we doing today? Got a bunch of kiddos coming in here from Station Camp. They got a little stuck in traffic. We're going to let y'all come on in and get comfortable. You're fine. Don't rush. Don't rush. But why are Sumner County kids in here? Why is Station Camp in here? Because my sweet friend Jennifer Gatlin, she is here, and she is the teacher and the sponsor for DECA, if I'm getting it all right, correct? It's all DECA, and I've got DECA kids at Greenbrier. They're going to be like, Miss Vivio, why do you have Station Camp in there this morning? Well, because they ask, and if y'all ask, you can come in too. But Jennifer, it was so fun visiting last year, and the group did really well with what they're doing, and they had a program to help people that were trying to get their life started back over with, just you were here, weren't you? I recognize you. I don't recognize the girls, but I recognize you, and y'all did really well. So introduce yourselves, and now when you get on those microphones, you'll have to pull them to you and get right up on it. Make sure you are all on camera so we can see your lovely faces, but you'll have to share those mics. So why don't you start, since I recognize you, introduce yourself and the girls, and tell me how y'all did last year, because, you did really well. So turn that microphone kind of pointing to your face there.
Yes.
Awesome.
So my name's Cole Elizondo. I'm a junior at Station Camp High School.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I'm Elle Lassiter. I'm a senior at Station Camp High School.
Okay.
I'm Peyton Osdraw. I'm a senior at Station Camp High School.
Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So glad y'all made the drive in this morning. So tell us how you did last year.
Yeah, so last year we went to the state competition, and my team actually got perfect score. We got first place in our category, and then we went on to internationals in California, and we ended up getting 5th place in the world in our category.
That is so awesome. Yeah, she told me that Jennifer, or Miss Gatlin, I'm sorry, I forget, but Miss Gatlin told me that y'all did really super well. So that's exciting. And yes. I'm so glad we got to be a part of that.
Yes, thank you.
So very, very cool. So you guys have got an equally cool thing that you're working on this year. So what is it, the program this year that you're working on? Who wants to unpack it? Go ahead.
So this year we're doing an awareness project. It's called the Literacy Lighthouse. And basically we're trying to raise awareness for mainly childhood illiteracy and just illiteracy in general within the state of Tennessee and our county. Yeah.
Tell me this now, the Literary Lighthouse, is that something that was an established program, or did y'all come up with that?
We did come up with it.
Oh, that's good. We call that a hook, y'all. Seriously, literary, it's literary. It's Literary Lighthouse, but I like that a lot. Do y'all have like logos and all kinds of stuff? Oh, y'all are good. You're on it. Yeah, Miss Gatlin's going, we got it this year. Because this is a big issue. I'm a teacher. And the literacy issue is breathtaking. And not just can kids read, but can kids write a proper email? Can they punctuate a sentence properly? Do they know how to converse without texting and, emojis and things like that? And and as I say that, emojis pop up on my screen. That's creepy. But anyway, so gotta love Facebook. But that's it's the all of it, isn't it? It's not just can you pick up a book and read. It's can you function in business, because that's what you guys are about with DECA. Mm-hmm. I'm a CTE teacher. You're a CTE too, yeah. And so you're on the business side of it. So we get it. And as we're trying to get the students ready to get into the workforce, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this. So is that kind of, are you focusing on the whole of it or one piece of it? So how are you structuring this?
So basically, we're focusing on all of like elementary schoolers. We're also doing an ESL, which stands for English Second Language
Right.
program within our high school.
Okay.
So students that come from different countries that speak little to no English, we're basically giving them resources as well. And we're also just spreading literacy statistics throughout our community. Like, just we're kind of focusing on it as a whole, but we're also focusing in on certain pieces and expanding throughout that.
I love that. Okay. So we're going to,
You tell them a little bit about the elementary program that we just started.
so, okay. And go ahead and remind me your name again.
My name is Peyton Osdraw.
Okay. And you're going to talk to us about the elementary part.
Yeah, so we've worked on creating a website called theliteracylighthouse.org where we're providing a multitude of resources. So we've created our own worksheets that are free and public to download on the website and to print. And we've also created a bunch of games for kids to play. This is to help them with their reading comprehension and things like that. Also things about like rhyming and what are nouns and verbs and other things like that. And along with helping our elementary kids, we are hosting readings for the kids at our Hendersonville Public Library, where we read to kids for about an hour. This coming up on the 28th, we're having the Titans mascot coming to come read to kids.
That's going to be cool. Can you tell me the specifics on that?
Yeah, so at 10:30 a.m. at the Hendersonville Public Library, we'll be hosting a reading for kids, and the Titans mascot T-Rack will be coming.
Oh, that's fun. Do kids have to sign up for it, or is it something they can just come to?
Nope, anybody can just show up. It's at the public library.
Can Robertson County kids come?
Yes.
You can't check out books there. You know, you got to check out books at your own library, but you can still come be a part of it. So that's just it. Since you're in Robertson County, that was a good answer. I was gonna say. But that's exciting. I love that. I love this. And I'm not surprised knowing who your sponsor is because I know she's just, so creative, but this is wonderful. I love the name. You've got your website already, and I've got grandkids. I've got a 8-year-old. I'm sorry, Rowan. He got 2 home runs last night. Oh, it was awesome. Congratulations, young man. We were in Mount Juliet last night. I'm just like, I was in Mount Juliet until very late, but he got 2 home runs and they won. It was awesome. But anyway, I digress. But he's 8 and a fabulous reader, seems to be doing great, but you can't take that for granted. Because you can be a great reader 1 minute and then get distracted by baseball and other things, and the next thing you know, you've letting it slide. So I love that you have games that are they like the ones they like to play like with lots of lights and things like that.
Yeah, we have a lot of different type of games. We have like some reading quizzes where it's a short story and they have to answer questions. We have like rhyming games, but they're all
Fun.
interactive and we've created them ourselves.
I love it. Well, that was my next question. Are these ones you've just linked, or these ones that you just brought in from? That is so cool,
We've
guys.
created all of our resources ourselves, so our
That is
worksheets and
so
everything.
cool. How exciting. Well, now you mentioned, so I just think that is wonderful. And so elementary, which is grades what to what? So that you're focusing on. Let her, yes, let's pass the mic on down. So give everybody a turn. So what grades are we focusing on then? Elementary is what to what?
So our worksheets and our website is kind of focused on K through 5, probably a little younger because, as you know, the new law in Tennessee that was just passed about 3rd graders having to be proficient in their reading level before they're allowed to move on.
Right.
We find it kind of been focusing on K through 3rd grade just because of that reason, making sure kids are up to their grade level before 3rd grade so that they don't face issues in getting held back or having to take summer school, because I know a lot of kids have this year. So most of our resources on our website are K through 3rd, but the readings that we're doing at the library are geared toward younger kids as well. So we're doing preschool kind of ages like 4 through 7, 8, kind of that range, so that we can get them involved as well. And then like Cole was talking about, our ESL club, that is focused on high school students actually. So we kind of have a range for every kid, and our worksheets and websites also range. Like when we create more websites on our page, which right now we don't have as many games and worksheets as we'd like, but we're building on that. We're going to have sections on our website that actually show which worksheets are for kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, so that kids can kind of gear toward their own reading level.
I love that. And ESL is a passion of mine, because I worked the church that she and I attend. I was there on staff for about 7 years, and I did a lot of ESL while I was there. And so when I first came into the school system, I wanted to be an ELL teacher, and got pulled to my field with CTE. But that is a big passion for me. And so when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, that's wonderful. Now, when it comes to the kiddos up in your area, I know you'll have a lot of Spanish speakers, but what other languages do you have to deal with? Are you getting some Arabic, or do you have some of the Egyptians up there? Because we have a lot. There's a bunch in Mount Juliet, out towards Murfreesboro, the LaVern area, and I wasn't sure how many up in Sumner, but we don't really have any of them right here. But
Egyptian is newer for us.
yeah,
We are Arabic.
they're Coptic. I've got a lot of Egyptian friends. For 2 years, I taught I worked almost extensively in the Egyptian community with ESL, but did a lot of Spanish speakers. Had a guy from Congo that I got to work. I'm telling you, one of the most coolest things you can ever do are help these newcomers when they get here, and just help them to navigate just our idioms that we use. And I had a whole class one day we did on just idioms, and it was hysterical. I had an Egyptian lady, she goes, I don't understand. They tell me to break my leg and then give me cake. Eat your cake, and then I was like, I just busted out. But it's just funny because there's so much of that. So do you have things, because I still have a lot of friends that could use some help. Do you have some things on the website for them, some games and things to help with language? Yeah, and if you don't, are you going to get there?
Yeah, so we're working on creating a new website just specifically for the ELL kids in our school. And with that specifically, we're creating more of like an interactive map, because the maps for our school are hard to read and they mainly focus on numbers for wings, where we're creating more of a picture-friendly map because pictures are more recognizable than, words.
Yeah.
And we're creating also resources that have simple questions that, like, I need help, where's guidance, where's the front office, where's the gym, where's the library, things like that are easy resources. And we're also creating online tutorials, like how to use Google Classroom, how to create a Google Doc, how to create slides, how to create spreadsheets, because that's something a lot of kids have never really had an iPad or use a Google Doc. We have 12 students from about 12 different countries and 11 different languages within our school, and many of them are first year speaking English and have little to no English, and so it's important to create resources for them.
I can't even imagine. I have a lot of Spanish speakers in my classes, and I just I've got this one kid from Honduras, and he's brand new. He's the only one here. His entire family's back home. He's here, I think, with an aunt, and he's adorable and just so excited. But my goodness, can you imagine being dropped into another country? And not have any of the language? I just can't even. I think that's wonderful that y'all have that in there. That's near and dear to my heart. You look like you're about ready to say something. Go.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking because when we first started our project, we didn't actually even really know about our ELL kids. We had a meeting with our ELL teacher, and she was saying how a lot of the times they're all really shy and almost scared to reach out to students because they think that they're going to be judged. So we think that creating this club will create a better environment for them and allow them to really just integrate into our school as normal students, because that's just what they are. They just need a little bit more guiding. So along with the website and map that we're also trying to create, we did make a Google Classroom also that we're working on putting all of our resources for the ELL students, and the members of our club are going to be able to have access to that too and add stuff to there.
That's cool. That's neat. I just think that's wonderful. And like you said, there's in our school we have a big Spanish speaking population, so they seem to have the support that they need. But in the same sense, trying to get them to integrate into the other things that are going on in school, they just kind of want to hang with their peers and stuff. And that's a challenge, trying to get them to. And I think this is a great program because it'll bring them in.
And that was a major goal of our project, is we want to attend things like sporting events together as a group, volleyball games, try and go to every game we can, just to help bring them into the school culture and school environment and help them feel comfortable. And like he said, we're creating a club, so it's for all students, ELL kids, and everyone, so that they can get extra resources and we attend these events together.
So do you have some that actually, just like we have a foreign exchange student this year from Pakistan, and her first language is English, which blew my mind. I was like, what? I was so shocked by that. So you said, how many different languages do you have in different cultures?
At our school, we have 11 different languages and kids from 12 different countries at the moment.
Do you know what the languages are?
We have
I know
Arabic.
Spanish, Arabic.
Yeah, Spanish,
Yeah.
Arabic. I think we have some Romanian.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Uzbekistan. We have a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you've got, do you have, I'm thinking Ukraine, there's a lot of Ukraine refugees right
Yeah,
now.
I think so.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
Our ELL teacher also was saying that she's getting kids from countries and with languages that she's never even really heard of, and she has no idea how to communicate with them. So we just wanted to help her, like,
Wow.
be able to make a more
Yeah,
universal.
I'd love to meet some of those
resources,
kids. My
yeah.
goodness. Oh, because it's just if you've got any passion to help English language learners, do it. I mean, just help them, just phrasing and things like that. It's just, and you'll see the ones that really, really, really are just hungry for it, and then the ones you have to kind of pull along. But it's like, come on, you can do this. But I just love this. I think this is great, man. I think y'all gonna do really well again this year. I really do. I think so. When are your competitions? You guys have got competitions. When? Go ahead and talk to me about when's all the stuff coming down, because you've got your event on the 28th at the library.
Yes.
And so when are your competitions actually?
Yes, so all throughout the fall and winter, we're doing stuff, obviously events, working on our projects. We have readings that are at the second and fourth Saturday of every month. And then we're also doing a Every Kid is a Hero event, which is in October. And that's, in addition, that's where we're also spreading awareness, which Every Kid is a Hero is an event for special needs kids that a teacher, Mr. Van Huss at our school, does every year. Oh, gosh. And so we're kind of tagging along in that and trying to spread awareness there too, just getting it out to parents, getting our website out. And then our competition, since we're a written event, is at state, and that is at the end of February. And then hopefully if we make it past state, we're praying, then we go to ICDC, and that's kind of around the middle of April. So that's when our
Wow.
state and international competitions are.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Oh, my Greenbrier kids gonna be like, yes, they're gonna get me. It's like, well, talk to me about your project, and we'll look at y'all's too, because you'll have to compete against each other. So will only one get to go from the state, or do you have like the top few, or the top
Yeah.
5? Okay, so I can cheer for y'all and still cheer for
Yeah.
Greenbrier too. They'll get me. They'll get me good, as I've got, because I'm in my 3rd year now, and the more you get into the school culture, it's like, ooh, there's rivalries, and I see y'all's name pop up an awful lot on our sports schedule. So I know, yeah. Because as a matter of fact, I think our band's coming there this weekend for competition. So, because we do a newscast at our school, and so Station Camp's been really prevalent in our news feed lately. It's like, well, we're going to Station Camp. They're coming here. I think y'all actually are playing us Friday night at Greenbrier. I think, do y'all know? Or any of y'all follow football? Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that may. I'll have to pull my calendar up to be sure. But so yes, it's a rivalry. Don't throw things at me when I get to Greenbrier today, y'all. This is a good program. This is exciting. This is very cool. But I'm excited for y'all. I think y'all got a really good one, like literary. Why can I not? Literacy Lighthouse.
Yes.
Literacy Lighthouse. Why can I not say that this morning? Like I said, too late on the ball field last night. Literacy Lighthouse, and literacy is a good choice rather than what I was trying to say. But so, who came up? Did you do your? How do you do your logos? Did you use Canva and all that fun stuff? Everything's Canva now.
Yeah, we kind of
So-
played around with the logo and the name throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to still figure out what exactly we were going to do. And then we were like, okay, we're raising awareness for this. And so we just thought the Literacy Lighthouse was a good
That's great.
name. And also, it matches up with our acronym it's GUIDE, and it stands to Grow, Uplift, Initiate, Dedicate, and Educate each student's mindsets. And so we were guiding students towards the light of reading. So
That's so cool. That's so cool. You gonna make T-shirts and all that.
Yeah.
Y'all got a really good idea here. You really have a good idea, because that being that the state is really doubling down on it. I really think that's just. Man, y'all nailed it on this one. I really think so. So what did Miss Gatlin want y'all to talk about?
Oh, she wants us. So one of the main things that we started when we were thinking about this project, because like Cole was talking about, it kind of started throughout the summer, is we were going to host a big book drive for students. And that's still in the works right now, trying to figure out the best place for us to donate the books to that would be the most beneficial for our community. And we're kind of of working on deciding if we want to do one big event book drive or if we want to do like a couple, see how many books we can get donated, and just figure out the most important and beneficial place that would be for us to donate those books to. So that's another big aspect of our project that's going to be coming soon that we're trying to work out kind of all the logistics for.
Well, and so that's another great idea because there's been such a drive, with the Dolly Parton books, and you get a lot of those, and the kids sign up for those, and you have extra books. But a lot of kids don't get signed up for that. As much as that's free, there's some families that just don't really know, and a lot of the newcomers, I've signed up several of the newcomer families when they first arrive, so their kids would get those books. But having grandkids, I mean, that's a constant thing that my daughter-in-law and son-in-law, they're trying to repurpose because they get so many books because we're trying to help with literacy and families that are really, taking that initiative. So there's a lot of very underused books out there that are available, and I think that's wonderful. And so, I mean, oh my gosh, yeah, the immigrant community could definitely use them, but any of the inner city communities, things like that. So that's very cool. I'm excited for you guys. So you've got the event on the calendar coming up with the Titans mascot. Are there any other events that are already on the calendar you want to mention?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. So let's go ahead and get right on that microphone for me.
One second, I gotta pull up these dates. So
She's pulling up all the info. What would we do without that little thing in our pocket? That's why I'm an AV teacher, and I tell all the kids now, everybody needs to take my class because you're everyone broadcasters because of this. But anyway, I digress. I'm filling time while you're getting your list. There you go. There you go.
Well,
What you got?
So obviously, like I said earlier, so we do already have all of our readings until December planned at the Hendersonville Library.
Okay.
So it's just the second and fourth Saturday of every month leading up. So we have the last one here in September. We have 2 in October on the second and fourth Saturdays, 2 in November on the second and fourth Saturdays, and then the second Saturday of December. And those are all themed. We have a list of those posted for some of that local elementary schools in our county, but we also have the dates up on our Literacy Lighthouse website on the calendar tab as well. So anybody
Wonderful.
who's willing to drive or is interested at all is welcome to come to those readings that we already have planned. And then we have
so specifically those dates is this Saturday, next Saturday, September 28th, and that's going to be Titans themed. Then we have October 12th from 10:30 a.m. to 12. All of these are 10:30 a.m. In the morning. And then we have the 26th of October. And then we have November 9th, November 23rd, and December 7th.
Okay. Any other special themes other than the Titans? What else?
So
you got?
the 26th one will be Halloween themed.
Of course.
Yeah, Thanksgiving one, Thanksgiving
course.
themes. The 7th of December will be Christmas themed. We also have some Jersey days, some pajama days. Honestly, just come. I mean, we encourage you to dress up, and we have like our themes on our website and stuff. But really, it's just important that you guys show up.
Very good. And are you pushing out, because you've got the ESL and the ELL tie-in, are you doing like a special thing with those kiddos too, or is it just kind of all encompassing? Because that's one thing, my kid from Honduras, I let him do a lot of stuff in Spanish, but I'm like, you need to start doing the English too. Come on. And he's super smart, so he's coming along. But do you have something separate for other languages, or just all integrated for the reading?
Yeah, at the moment, it's just all kind of one thing, but we would love to in the future create more targeted and specific readings for our ELL kids.
That's cool. That's really cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You got something.
Well, for the reading specifically, right now we're doing younger kids because one of the main things that we were trying not to do with the ESL students was kind of make them feel like less than almost. So we don't want to like group them in the same category as the children, like the
Gotcha.
younger kids.
Yeah.
So we don't want to make them feel like, oh, you need to come to a reading of us reading a
Sure.
children's book. So all of our websites and materials for them are going to be more like based at high school level, but still like giving them simpler versions of tasks that they need to complete, or just giving them tools like Cole was saying earlier about the tutorials on Google Classroom, stuff that's going to help them, but not make them feel like they're kind of backtracking or like we're treating them like they're younger than they are, because that's not how we want to make anyone feel. We want to include them into the high school community that they're already in. So that's kind of why we've like separated the readings and their resources right now.
That's a really good thought. That's a really good thought. And I think I was thinking more in terms of, these high school kids have younger siblings.
Yeah.
And that's what, in my experiences, the younger kids, man, they're so, I had this one little girl that she had just arrived from Egypt, only spoke Arabic when I first met her. And I kind of lost track of him and saw him like a year later, I think. The child was not just had just kind of come out of her shell. Of course, still speaking Arabic, but also English and Spanish. And I mean, this was a little bitty kid, and she, of course, was just brilliant to have that ability. But man, these little kids, they'll pick it up. They will pick it. That are older, you know, they're gonna be like, hey, let's take the siblings, because you know they've got younger siblings that'll be able to go to that too. But they'll pick it up. This is a great idea, guys. What are we missing? Anything that we're missing? We're coming up on the last few minutes here. How would you like to cap off your time with me this morning? What are we missing, guys? Have we missed anything, Miss Gatlin?
Oh yeah, you can talk about all our social media stuff we have.
Yeah, I mean, we have, as of now, a Facebook and Instagram, and then we're in the process of publishing stuff on our TikTok and YouTube. On YouTube, it's mainly going to be almost like audiobooks that are also going to be attached to our website. That way students can have easy access to those. But our Instagram and TikTok are going to be more entertainment, and Facebook are going to be more entertainment purposes and just raising awareness in general for literacy. And I believe all of those accounts are the literacylighthouse.official for the TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
Well, and y'all do a good job with your production. I've seen some of your audio video stuff you've done. So do y'all work with your audio video program there, or do you do that all independently yourself?
I think it's kind of 50-50. We do some of it at school when we need the help of people in our DECA chapter as volunteers, but then we also, when we can do it at home, we do it independently.
Because you can do so much with these little things in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'll have to go check that out, because I love seeing what the high school students come up with for video and things like that. Are you going to record audiobooks or link them?
Yeah, we're going to record. We're going to try
good.
to record them.
That's fun. That's fun.
And that's another thing that we're kind of gearing for the parents to be on our website for, is so they can, if they don't have time to read to their kids, because obviously like reading at home is a really big part of children's literacy. So the audiobooks are more for the parents to be like, okay, I might not have time to read to my kid tonight. Let me like pick an audiobook for them to listen to or to watch along with. And that's a big part of our project that we've wanted to focus on for a while, but obviously we kind of have to work around some copyright laws, stuff like that. So that's a little tricky for us right now. We're still kind of in the process of figuring out what we're allowed to record, what we're allowed to post. But parents, like we're targeting parents being able to use that aspect of our website more too.
Right,
Yeah.
just public domain. I mean, there's stories out there that are public domain that you can use, but I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting now. Is if you publish something that you do not own the rights to, you can't monetize it, but they can link to you if you use in a song. If you use a song and you use it as a background for a video, if the person who owns the song links to you, they can monetize it because it's their work. So they can use you, in fact, to make money, but you can't. Is the way it's kind of working now. And those things are they move and change all the time because it's such a crazy industry right now. But what else are we missing? We got just a couple of minutes here, guys. Anything else you want to?
Just to those physical books.
So are you going to put make sure the text is there as well so they can read along? Yeah. That's one of a lot of the ESLs that I did. One of the ways they would learn English is they would watch English television, but they would turn on the closed caption so they could read along and kind of see the words as they pop up. Sometimes they're not accurate because it's generated, but at least it's something to help. So that's awesome. What are we missing? Anything else as we kind of wrap this time up? Just kind of recap it all for us. Remind us what it is. Give the website and plug your next event and all that. So let's just do a big recap right now.
Yep. So we're the Literacy Lighthouse. We're competing in DECA this year, state and hopefully international. We have a website, theliteracylighthouse.org. We have all of our social medias, theliteracylighthouse.official. We're going to have audiobooks. We're going to have a book drive. The date will be coming soon. We'll be at Every Kid's a Hero, which is at Station Camp. It's a date in October. It should be pretty easy to find online. It's a pretty big event for special needs, and we'll be there promoting as well as some other DECA projects. We have all of our book readings, second and fourth Saturdays. We have online resources. We have Google Classroom tutorials for the ESL students. And if we get that big enough, we'd love to spread that to other schools outside of Station Camp as well. So that might be coming. That might be something that will be coming soon later in the fall or winter. And anything else, Peyton?
Anything else?
Anything else, guys? Resources. Yeah, all resources are free. The website is free, easy to use. Peyton designed all of our games. We have a bunch of worksheets. Yep. So we all kind of have different role in the project, but we kind of came together, made it work, and yeah.
Outstanding. Any parting thoughts? Anybody else? Because we're at that marker, so it's time to go. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. Any
Yes,
other parting
thank you.
thoughts as we head out?
Just visit the literacylighthouse.org.
Great title. I'm excited to see the T-shirts. I think it's going to be great, guys. And your teacher will keep me up to date because I love hearing about how you did. That's one thing. Last year it was so exciting to hear how you did, and I think this is going to be fabulous. I think you got some good stuff. I'm sorry, Greenbrier, y'all can come in too, but it is a pretty cool program. That's awesome, guys. Congratulations on a
Thank you
great
so
idea.
much.
And y'all be safe traveling back to school. Y'all got to get back to class. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
And I'll let y'all make your way out. And our city manager, Ron Martin's out there. And so while y'all are heading out, I'm going to do a commercial. I'm going to do it live. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
God bless y'all. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Gatlin. And as they're making their way out the door, we're going to talk about Veterans Motorplex. Get ready for racing, guys. And remember to follow Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. Be sure and follow them at Highland Rim Speedway, because here's the deal. If you do not, you will not know if there is a rain delay or a cancellation, because unfortunately, their big Shriners night they had this past weekend planned had to get canceled. They're going to try to reschedule it. But we had rain, which we needed. I think I could just hear the ground sigh with relief as the rain hit. But because of that, they had to do a cancellation. And so if you're planning on going to the races, of course, you want to know if anything's going on. And that's how you find out, is by following them at Highland Rim Speedway. They kept the old Facebook page. And that's where you can find out all the information for Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. They got a big racing weekend this Saturday. They're going to have back-to-back Legend doubleheader, and they want you to join them for a wonderful night of racing. Of course, you've got, and the doubleheader, first one's going to be this weekend, and the next one, of course, next weekend. It's going to be a wonderful time. They have got the gates opening 4:15 every Saturday. A $40 ticket can get up to 8 people in, and that's 6 kids and 2 adults, up to 6 kids and 2 adults for a $40 ticket price. That is a great deal. Family-friendly environment. So much fun to be had out at Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. They are located at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. If you have questions, you can give them a call at 615-430-3135, 615-430-3135. And again, cannot say enough. Follow them at Highland Rim Speedway so you know everything that's going on. You can get all the details. They'll have little shows and just video chats, all kinds of fun stuff that you can find out there. And you are going to have a blast. Get out there before the season ends at the end of October. You don't want to miss it. Great time to get out to the race. It's cooler at night. You're going to love it. And they've done a lot of renovations out there. You're going to love it. Go and check it out. Let them know U-Turn sent you. Ron Martin is in the house and following the kiddos. That's always fun.
Yeah, you had quite a group in here this morning.
And she is their sponsor for DECA. And they went, I forget, like third in the world last year on their project. They're just very, very innovative. And of course, I know they're,
Wow.
she's a writer. She's just very, very smart and creative. And so this literacy lighthouse, which
Okay.
to me is just a wonderful hook in and of itself. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like a national program, Literacy Lighthouse.
It does.
And that's their program. And because, I mean, that's a big statewide push even from the governor. It's like, we got to get our literacy
Sure.
up. Oh, it's really good. It's really good. My Greenbrier DECA kids are going to be like, thanks, Miss Vivio, for promoting them. And it's like, well, y'all get in here.
Yeah.
I don't know what their project is this year, but I better get on it because they're going to fuss at me.
Inciting a little competition there.
Well,
Yeah.
I got they're coming to play football against us on Friday night. So that's a big
Oh,
rivalry
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, because anyway, but I'll talk to my DECA kids at Greenbrier and get them in here. So
Yeah.
what have you got going on? Because I know you're probably busy. Mayor, he came in yesterday and they were covered up. So I was like, y'all probably have a lot going on too.
Yeah, it's a busy time.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are a lot of things going on. We're anticipating a rate cut today by the Fed. I think that's what we've heard from a lot of the developers that are on the sidelines. You know, we've talked about in here that 2023 was a little bit of a pullback year, people kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with inflation, with rates and things like that. And so we've been inundated over the last few months. We've already issued more building permits in 2024, in the first half, than we did in all of 2023. So, and we're seeing some of the folks that were on the sidelines jumping back in. got a meeting, got a couple more meetings scheduled this week with folks with developments that were kind of on hold that are kind of saying, okay, we're ready to look at getting started and have conversations about that. So we're seeing those things happen in anticipation of the Fed's decision today. So I think it's a busy time. It's I think it's going to just stay busy. We got our breather that we were hoping for last year, and now it's it's just going to continue to get busier. But we had our Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting last night and had a pretty full agenda. The first thing we did, which was kind of neat, recognized the Robertson County Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you knew, they won.
Mayor mentioned it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mention it again in case anybody missed
Excuse me, won Chamber of the Year. They were recognized by the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce Executives, I believe is the name of the organization. And so they won out of the whole state. So they came last night, their board and some other folks were there to get recognized. Our board passed a resolution honoring them. That's a big deal to be recognized across the state. So that was a cool thing that we got to start off the meeting. So it's always good when we get to do good stuff like that and recognize folks, and we get to do that from time to time. Couple of some business items that we had to address. We're still tackling the evaluating the growth of the water system and looking at evaluating how to make that work for the long term and not now. We don't have a water capacity issue. We have plenty of water, and but looking for the long term. And so the board took some action on that last night. Also, city court costs is another issue we've been studying. Our city court costs haven't changed in a long time, and so what ends up happening is, when the city court costs stay flat, the taxpayers end up picking up the tab for the operation of the court, right? And so what the desire was, and what the law kind of contemplates, is you put that burden of the cost of operating the court on the people that are violating the law, right? And so raising those court costs is something that the board took action on last night as well, an increase in those. So, that takes that burden off the taxpayers. If you're out here driving the speed limit and you don't have junk in your yard and and that sort of thing, and you not committing any ordinance violations, then you don't really have to pay for the operation of the city court. We're still paying for those police officers to provide the criminal activity deterrence and enforcement that we want them to do, but the operation of city court that cost should really be borne by the violators, the ones that are there. And so that's where those court costs. So we did a study a month or two ago to really evaluate a year's worth of data and evaluate, okay, how many violations did we have, what court costs were collected, how much did it cost to operate the court, and then kind of through all of that and evaluating, came up with what should the cost per violation be that's assessed. Of course, the fine, it's not a fine, it's not punitive. It's just it's covering the cost of the operation of the court. The fine is limited to $50. And a lot of people don't know that. I think we've talked about that in here.
We talked about that last, and I was stunned. I was like, oh, if somebody has junk in their yard, it's cheaper for them just to let you fine them and let y'all clean it up and cut the grass. I mean, that's crazy. But now that you can the court costs, you can recover some of that.
And we can recover some of that cost, and taxpayers don't have to foot that bill. And that's where that's angled towards. So the board took some action on that. That's just one of those things that when nobody's thought about it for a while. Yeah. So it hadn't come up, and then it finally did, and we're able to take some action. Another business item that the board tackled last night is, with us having a lot of commercial growth right now, seeing shopping centers come into play. There have been 2 that have opened in the last year. We've got a couple more that are planned, several more that are planned, one that it's getting ready to be built right now. Looking at the parking requirements for shopping centers, we end up with a lot of empty asphalt sometimes. And so evaluating where are our parking requirements, because we've had some complaints that, hey, that's too much parking. That's just a lot of asphalt, which means more stormwater that has to be accounted for. It's a domino effect, right? And so looking at parking requirements, looking around Middle Tennessee to see what other cities that have already encountered some of this commercial growth. And so we proposed to the board last night to kind of rework some of our parking requirements for shopping centers. And so kind of tier that up based on the size of the tier it down rather, based on the size of the shopping center. The larger the shopping center, the less spots per square feet that you need to have, because you're going to have, for instance, we have a shopping center. It's going to be going up here. You have restaurant and a bank and some retail. Well, the bank's not going to be open on Sunday or Saturday night or Friday night, which is when the restaurants might be the busiest, right? So it's a trade-off, and that's why you have shared parking. So, applying some common sense and looking around to see how other cities have done it that have gotten it right, because other folks have already encountered these issues before they got to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of curious, because I know the shopping center there by Payne was built. I'm trying to think of any new ones I'm thinking of. Is there one coming up that is interesting?
There's one in front of Goodwill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
And then the one that's getting ready to be built is going to be behind or next to Zaxby's and Aspen Dental and Taco Bell out there. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's going to be some construction taking place there. And then, of course, when Vesper Village comes to be, which is the
Right.
right out, your back door right here
Yeah.
at the radio station, that's there will be a commercial development that will be included
really?
in there. Lots of commercial development. Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
gonna be. I mean, there's just it's fascinating. I just as I'm driving through traffic, I'm like, ooh, it's gonna get real interesting because I mean, the more cars,
Yeah.
that's another factor, of course.
And that was one of those things that the citizens really spoke. We heard loud and clear from the citizens in Springfield that said we want the commercial growth because everybody wants their favorite store, their favorite restaurant to come here. So they understood that rooftops were necessary. What everyone said is we don't want to grow irresponsibly.
Yeah.
And so we don't want traffic problems. We don't want some of these things that come along. We understand that people are coming, and in an area like Springfield, that's just it's happening, right? And so growing in a smart way, in a responsible way, is what we're trying to do. So that was the purpose of the comprehensive growth plan, to determine where density can't be handled, where it can be handled, certain levels of density of housing or development and that sort of thing, but alleviating traffic. Right. So, the Batson extension is an example of a bypass that is designed to help alleviate traffic congestion.
It will be huge.
When and that we can go on and I'll hit that one. It was on my list to talk about today. But the Vesper Village development, if it comes to be, which we expect them to apply later this year for annexation or rezoning, it just kind of grew. It grew from 400 acres to 600 acres. There are more property owners that have signed on to be part of that development. That will connect Tom Austin Highway right out here with Highway 49. Again, creating a corridor, a bypass that keeps the traffic out of the middle of the city, and that's the kind of the intent there is trying to keep the traffic problems to minimum. We've seen what the other cities have gone through, and we don't want to do that. We don't want a traffic problem. We already have crowded Memorial Boulevard in the middle of the day, right? And it's been that way for a while. And so anything we can do to not contribute to that problem, and we've been clear to the folks that want to develop, and people that come and see us. And of course, a lot of the developers are interested in as much density as they can get, or and we've been clear that, hey, we're going to make sure that we grow responsibly. So where you're looking at, that doesn't work there, right? Or, or over here, this might work, here because of, but we'll look at the traffic numbers. We'll look at a traffic study and that sort of thing.
It's going to be interesting. I'm very curious about that project because, that's out here in my end of town. And so that'll be very interesting to see that connection and how that's going to change the traffic dynamic because that's where my head goes. I'm like, I kind of see how that would work and that would alleviate some problems. So, yeah. I like the sound of that. That's interesting. I'm curious about that for sure. What else have you got for us? I want to keep this moving. I could chit chat with you and get you off topic. So.
The thing about that is if you were coming from Pleasant View and you were going to Greenbrier, then once that's built, then theoretically you could turn off a 49. And
that's what I was thinking.
Once you get to Watson Road, which is where that'll come across, turn right on Tom Austin and take the Batson extension all the way out towards Greenbrier, and you would never have to come through Springfield, right? Through Springfield proper, if you will. So that's the idea of allowing folks to keep the vehicles that don't need to be, if they're not going to Springfield, to keep them in and around. That's the whole purpose of the bypass. It's not that we want people to miss Springfield because we want them to stay, shop, spend their money and all that sort of thing, but we want to move, allow folks to move, right, without all being crammed into one central area.
I like the sound of that. That's going to be interesting. So that's going to be fun to watch. The development is just exciting. I was just sitting here thinking when you sit down, I thought, since I've known you, we've gotten Chick-fil-A, we've gotten Whataburger, and those are the things, and I'm not a big restaurant person, but those are the things that people ask me about.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you were talking to Ryan, when's da-da-da-da, and it's always a restaurant, you know, and everybody's, are we getting a Publix? Is there anything that we'll get a Publix? Is there anything on the horizon? Or I've heard rumors that maybe a Publix would be coming.
Yeah. So, the folks that we've talked to, Publix wants to be here. Yeah. The biggest issue that Publix has, I'll be very transparent, the biggest issue Publix has right now is finding a spot that works. Yeah. They have been here on the ground as recently within the last couple of months, and conversations have taken place in the last couple of months. The biggest issue is finding them a spot, which again, when this unlocks when this opens
That's
up out
kinda
here.
what I was thinking,
it
too.
unlocks a lot of commercial space that we don't have right now.
Yeah.
So Publix is in conversation with a lot of people to we don't make
knows?
announcements
Who
for
knows?
folks, but yeah, but
who
we're
knows? I mean, there's been a lot said to me about, I hear Publix is looking, and and again, that's just, and not from anybody official. It's just a lot of people asking me, and people hear,
Yeah.
they hear rumors and all that. That's probably the biggest rumor.
I think
Like,
so.
we
Yeah.
want Publix. Is Publix coming? And I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll be here. I mean, I do.
I think so eventually, but I think the development you're talking about sounds. When do you think that will? You think they're going to be applying for permits and rezoning and all that at the end of this year, or the?
We expect them to come as early as within a couple of months because I
Okay.
think they're finishing up
rates
some
and all
stuff
that,
and
yeah.
well, and they've been acquiring. Other property owners have reached out to them to say, hey, would you like to buy mine too,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And that's
Sure.
kind of what happens in a situation like that. So that's put them back to the drawing board to re-engineer and reconceptualize kind of
Right.
the development. So I would think that they would come later this year, but the reality is this: that's 600 acres. That's a 15-year development.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, that's a 15. That's not something that gets built over the next 18 months. And it's like, wow. Now, will a commercial corridor potentially go in, have some retail out there? Yep. Yeah, it will soon within the next, 2 or 3 years, but there'll be some rooftops that come with that too first. And so it'll be a combination, but it'll be a while as that gets built out.
Interesting. It's fascinating. It's interesting to watch. But we're talking with Ryan Martin. He is our city manager here in Springfield. And if you want to know what's going on in Springfield, this is the man to talk to. And I'm always interested to see the boundaries of Springfield because I'm seeing Ann signs up, where she's running for mayor again. And she had one kind of far out, and I was like, I didn't realize that was Springfield where you could vote because I have a Springfield address, but I can't vote in a Springfield election because I am technically in the county.
Not in the city
So
limits.
it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
weird.
it's kind of interesting to see where the limits hit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit further out than I thought sometimes.
It's really strange. I think that's one of the most common issues that we work with folks on, especially folks that aren't from here, is the difference between a corporate city limits and postal.
Yeah.
Where your mail
Postal,
goes,
yeah.
where your mail goes, right? So the U.S. Postal Service takes your address and says which post office do we want to route that person's mail through, and that's how you get assigned a Springfield address because your mail goes through there. You take Coopertown, for instance. Coopertown doesn't have a post office, so you have folks in Coopertown that have 3 different addresses. Some have a Cedar Hill address, some have a Pleasant View address, and some have a Greenbrier address.
Yeah.
So it's because of the where their mail. It's very confusing when you have a county with 11 municipalities and so many quirks like that. So we try to help folks all the time with stuff
Very
like
good.
that.
And if you have any questions, door's always open. What else have you got for us?
So good news for folks: electric and gas rates will be down in October. As you know, we have to do market adjustments every month based on how much TVA charges for electricity or how much gas is on the open market. And so both of those are down. Obviously, it's not a big gas time right here. Most folks gas heat. It's not. We haven't needed our heat in a while. We've had plenty of heat outside. So, but electric and gas rates will be down slightly, about a $5 or so decrease in an electric bill next month for the average electric bill. So that's a good sign for folks. Now, once we get into winter, we expect those markets to rise again, and we'll see those rates creep back up. But we also did renew the RTA bus contract. We have. It's a partnership with the Regional Transportation Authority that out of Nashville with Davidson County, Robertson County government, the city of Springfield. We all 3 partner with the RTA on helping to fund that bus route that takes those commuters to Nashville. And the RTA says they saw ridership increase over the last year of about 500 people. There were about 5,500 people maybe that I think that was the ridership numbers for that route. So they've kept our cost low. It's a relatively low subsidy that we help provide, and we're glad to continue that partnership for the folks that take advantage of that and lessen, again, traffic congestion. A couple other things that we did last night is we approved a new contract for tasers for the police department. That's a 5-year agreement. That's a very convoluted thing. There's a lot that goes into, especially, in modern day, and what goes into the use of force for law enforcement. And so vetting a company like Axon and securing a contract with them is something that it's expensive, but it's necessary. And so it's a 5-year agreement, and the police department will be outfitted with, we had come to the end of life on the old contract with the old tasers. So we'll be the police department will be outfitted with new tasers.
Very good. I'm gonna let you just keep going.
Okay, well, good.
Keep going.
The-
I've got an ad, but we'll do it. In just a
Okay.
minute.
Well, one last thing we did at the meeting, and then I can cover some other kind of tidbits.
Okay.
But and when you get back, but Garner Street Playground, the Board of Mayor and Alderman awarded that bid to replace the Garner Street Playground. It's a
Awesome.
beautiful looking playground. We'll try to get a picture up on the website, or we'll try to put something out on social media. I think we'll try to do that today, as a matter of fact. Put something out about that. It's a beautiful playground. Has a little clock tower, so it's got a touch of home
Nice.
in it, and so it's a really cool concept. Comes with all the ADA accessibility and inclusive features that we were hoping for. This company was the only one that bid all of those features, and with wheelchair accessibility, with sensory zones and that sort of thing, because we've talked about that many times. That's our mission and job is to serve everybody, and that's what we're doing now. Even with our playgrounds, we want to make sure that all kids are able to enjoy those facilities.
When do they think that'll be? What's the completion projection? On
Yeah, so we're looking at a year or so.
But still,
yeah,
a year goes by awful fast.
yeah.
But Lee Marie is coming in with the Go Show. She's teasing me with a cool T-shirt. So anyway, so she's got me a T-shirt, and I love it. But anyway, so stay tuned for the Go Show coming up at 8 o'clock. So you get 2 hours today, not just one. Let me go ahead and do my break, and then we'll come back, and we'll continue with Ryan Martin, our city manager. If you have any questions, he is the man that has them all, or at least he knows how to find them out. Somebody else that you can ask all our questions of are Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Great friends of mine that if you are curious about real estate, no matter, it's like he was talking about rate decrease, what's that going to do to the market? It's so funny because so many, depending on what the interest rates are, people are like, well, it's a good time to buy. It's a bad time to buy. And Barry will always say it's always a good time to buy, because if the interest rates are high, house prices are lower. If the interest rates are lower, house prices are higher. It just always balances out. And he says, they're not making any more of this stuff. And if there's a piece of real estate that comes up on the market and you're really interested in it, you better jump on it, because it may not come available again during your lifetime. I have a lot of people, the property that we own, always they're like, man, I didn't even know that was for sale. And odds are, I don't know if it'll stay with my kids once I'm gone, but that's just an example. Once property is acquired, sometimes it doesn't come back on the market. So you better, not play around too much if there's a piece of property you're really interested in. And if you're somebody that needs to sell some property, maybe you're older and it's time to downsize. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. So she is specifically gifted and trained at taking care of those kinds of things and making sure that everything is done in the way that you need for it to be as you get older and you try to make plans for the future and try to maybe sell some family land. Whatever your needs are, if you got somebody that you want to bring in that's wanting to learn more about real estate, you can call them. They'd love to mentor them. But they have offices. They are the Exit Prime Realty, a new branch in the Exit Tree. They've also worked with the Garden Gate team for many years. But Exit Prime Realty, that includes Barry's brokerage office right here in downtown, and then Rebecca's office, an agency office up in White House. They can help you in any way possible. If you want to contact them, you can call them at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Go to sellwithbecky.com, buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're cross-Planians for nearly 30 years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky, because like me, they're from Kentucky and they've worked all over, so they've got a lot of great experience. Reach out to them today and let them know. Is up for re-election. Is she opposed, or is that just her? I haven't even heard.
Yeah, she does have an opponent. I believe we have a couple of contested races.
Yeah,
and so
sure.
Yeah, we have a couple of contested races, and we have one alderman that is not seeking. Alderman Lisa Arnold is not seeking re-election. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
I'd encourage everybody to register to vote. If you're not registered, it's and vote, and that's what. If you need help identifying where your ward is, or we'll be glad to call our staff. We'll be able to help with your address, and we also have a map on our website that helps with that too. That you can a ward map where you can look and try to identify which ward, so you know who your alderman is. Or if you have any questions about anything, please give us a call or give your alderman a call, and that's what we're all here for. We're here to serve.
Well, and I'd imagine we're getting close to the deadline to get registered too. I would.
Yeah, I'm not
imagine.
sure when
It would
that
have to
is,
be
but
coming up pretty quickly. So you
Yeah.
want to get registered as soon as possible. What
Yeah.
else have you got for us?
So a couple things. Moreland Drive project. We're excited that that's finally finished. We were hoping to get that finished before Whataburger opened, and as things go, it just didn't happen that way. So we apologize for the little interruption there. But what folks will notice there at Moreland Drive is a wider turning radius. One of the biggest complaints there and safety issues was that the turning radius turning off of Memorial onto Moreland Drive, it was sharp, and so
Yeah.
you had to. There was a shorter turning lane there, so it was tough. And so we've reworked that turning radius a little bit to widen that out. Also put a sidewalk in all the way down Moreland Drive to 22nd, which helps the new apartment complex back there for those folks that are walking. That makes that safer. We didn't want people walking down the street, to walk to get something to eat or walk to shop. So a sidewalk, that was a partnership that we were able to do there with right-of-way and with funds that to help put a sidewalk down through there. So that's a project that looks a lot better. It's a lot safer for not only vehicle traffic but pedestrian traffic there, and it was needed, especially with something going there that's going to be a lot of in-and-out traffic, like Whataburger, a restaurant like that. So glad to have that wrapped up. Batson Parkway Extension, we kind of talked about that a little bit ago. We're shooting for the 27th for that to be open. Got a little bit of work to finish up there, so we're going to communicate to the public as soon as we have that firmed up, but I'm still holding on hope to the 27th of this month, which is next Friday.
Oh, yeah.
For us to open that road. We recently conducted some renovations at City Hall to try to improve customer service. We might have talked about that last month, but we've kind of finished those up. So when you come into City Hall now, when you walk in the door, there's going to be somebody there that can help you direct where you need to go. That was one of the issues with City Hall, that if you were from here, you know what to do.
Yeah.
But if you moved here and you didn't know, you walked into a building that really had no good signage and that sort of thing. And it's just something that we didn't think about till we heard from folks, because we all knew where to go, right? Yeah. And so that's one of those things that we've improved, as well as cleaning up some stuff where it's an older building and we've had some flooding issues and some a lot of issues there. Talked about last month our traffic unit. The police department launched a traffic unit in July. The reason for launching that traffic unit was an increase in DUIs and an increase in accidents. We've had over 600 traffic accidents, vehicle accidents in the city of Springfield for 2 years in a row.
Wow.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
People are distracted driving, people are intoxicated driving, and you and me and our families and other people's families should not have to worry about that when they're. So I want to be clear. Is this traffic unit conducting some more traffic stops? Sure they are. Is it about revenue? Absolutely not. We collect a $50 fine.
Yeah, that's not it.
And it doesn't.
Safety.
It does not move the needle on the budget.
Yeah.
So it's not about revenue. It's not about gathering money or anything like that. It's about getting. We want to see those accident numbers come down. That's the complaint that we're getting from the citizens. They said there are too many traffic accidents. So the chief of police and I have heard that message, and that's what we want to do. Couple things to finish up with. Junk collection starts October 1st. I'd encourage everyone to get their junk out on October 1st or as soon as possible. Number one question we get is, when will they come by my house? The answer is, I have no idea. And the reason for that is this. Yeah. The way it's set up is we continuously run the route all month long.
Right.
So when we start out to run the route, if there's no junk for the first 8 streets, then we're going to get to your house sooner, right? Mm-hmm. If there's tons of junk on the first 3 or 4 streets that they get to, then they may not get to your house until later. So it's not we do this street this day, this street this day. It's a continuous route. So they may get to your house by the 3rd day of the month. It may be the 7th day of the month, but they'll continuously run the route. I would just encourage folks to get that junk out as quickly as possible. Lastly, First Friday Night Market, October 4th, 10-Year Town. It'll be the end of the season for 2024 First Fridays. So we're excited about that. 10-Year Town is the band. They're a good when we have them coming back.
And it's fall, and so
That's
it's
right.
like, yay,
That's
pumpkins and all the things and cooler weather. Awesome. Did great. We've still got a minute.
Oh, good.
Nothing else?
Yeah. Hey, call us if you need us.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Yes, ma'am.
Ron Martin, his door's always open, and he's always here on the day after the mayor and alderman meeting. You can count on it, and we appreciate it, just keeping you all up to date. Thank you, guys. We want you to stick around because Lee Marie's got a full schedule that she needs. Come on in here. What have you got? Where'd you go? Oh, I love the T-shirt. Isn't this? I love this. I love this. Isn't this great? Thank you, sister. And it's blue. I love it. I love that. That is fabulous. Holy Spirit activate. You know it. I love this. We are a worldwide Christian broadcast company right here. And do you have these at your dance
Yes, I have
class?
lots of cool.
Tell them real quickly about your, as I'm heading out here, can you tell them about what you're doing and how they can get in touch with you? And all that real
Sure.
quick?
Right next to Crossroads Christian Bookstore.
You can
It-
also get little Jesuses.
That's right. Is well in the square, and I'm doing dance classes and other wellness types of information. And I have some really nice T-shirts like this.
I love it.
So come and see me.
All right, you guys, thank you. Stick around. Go Show's coming up right after this. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless.
Time's gone by, I've driven.
Hi, this is Jonathan Wilburn. You're listening to the best in Southern gospel, country